Well, hello and welcome. This is Danielle Watson with today's edition of the Danielle Daily. Thank you so much for joining me. I believe we're 3 weeks into this now. We will be finishing this up on Monday, Halloween. I can't wait to show you my costume. But today's topic is how to kiss your own ouchies and boo-boos when you feel a little bit knocked around by life, when you're feeling a little bit wounded, like things are not really going the way you'd like them to. It's a really great skill to have, to know how to give yourself relief, how to kiss those ouchies and boo-boos of life so that you're not stuck wallowing in your own misery for any longer than you need to, and you're able to feel better again and to move forward and to start doing the things that you love to do and that make you feel like life is amazing, getting back into that place as quickly as possible. So it looks like we have Tim here so far. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you, and I love that you share these broadcasts. I especially appreciate that. So today we're going to be talking about kissing your own ouchies and boo-boos. This skill is invaluable in life because sometimes we just don't have anybody in our life who can give us what it is we need. And even if we do, sometimes we just don't want to have to ask anybody else to help us to get through something. And so having the skill to be able to do that for yourself is wonderful, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Melovic is here. Hello, it's the first time you've been here. Thank you so much for joining me. So if you guys are just joining on, I am Danielle Watson. This is the Danielle Daily. This is the place where you can come each and every weekday throughout the month of October at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and I promise you, you will find something that is either inspiring, fun, or positive. One of those three things, sometimes all of them, will be happening here every single weekday throughout the month of October. Same time, I highly recommend that you subscribe to receive notifications about these broadcasts, because after October, I actually will not be broadcasting at this time anymore. I will be having these pop-up positivity parties at different times throughout the day. I still intend to keep them on a daily basis, but I like the idea of being able to take you guys out into the world, into my more daily life, and not have everything sort of happening in this same spot. So we're going to talk about kissing your own ouchies and boo-boos and how to do that and why it's important. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how this topic came up. And I also have today's note to self for you today. So if you don't already have something to write that down, I highly recommend that you grab a pen or a piece of paper, or you open up a document on your phone or your laptop so that you can type in that note to self and then use it to help you the next time that you're feeling like, oh, life just dealt me a blow. Melovic says, hi, happy to be here. Yes, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much. And I love that you put in a comment and said hello. That makes me feel so good. I've already seen some hearts and some thumbs up going across the screen. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you guys liking these broadcasts and sharing them with your friends. I'm starting to get people coming here, watching, even people commenting whom I've never actually met, which is very exciting. That means that these positivity parties are having a ripple effect. They're moving out through social media to other people. And if you live in the US like I do, right now we're coming up on a very contentious election. And so anything you can do to share and spread something that's positive and through any channel is a help to everyone. We could all use something positive, fun, or inspiring in our newsfeed. So please feel free to use that to kind of counteract all that kind of yuck that's coming up right now. It'll be over soon, but there's plenty of time left to go ahead and do that. Looks like Joe is watching. Thanks so much. I really appreciate Joe. He's so good about sharing what I put out. I love him. His Dreamers podcast show is so inspiring. I can't say enough. You should definitely check out his show. I'm hoping he'll put a link to his show in the comments, if not now, maybe after the broadcast. So before we get started talking about kissing your own ouchies and boo-boos, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I came upon this topic. So this morning I was out for a walk in the beautiful Virginia countryside with my best friend Amber, and we were talking about how she had some interesting news come up last week, and I was dealing with feeling, one of those heartbreaks of life. I had just ended a relationship and it was painful for me. And So both of us had been in a painful place, and even though we're best friends, we actually had not talked about it. And it was funny because that's just what we do. We occasionally will bring something to the table where we vent it and then we sort of just move on from it. But each of us has actually developed the skill to a very high degree of being able to self-soothe, to be able to kiss our own ouchies and boo-boos, and knowing what we need to feel better so that we can quickly move on from whatever it is that is bothering us and move on into feeling better and to eventually feeling good again, no matter what it is. And we've both been through the ringer. We've both had things happen. We've lost people we love. We've lost relationships we love. And yet here we are, able to do what it is we need to do for ourselves because we practice it. We practice it over and over and over. Looks like Tara Keck is watching. Thank you so much for joining us. So several of you have joined us since I made the announcement. So I'm Danielle Watson. This is the Danielle Daily. You can catch me here every single weekday throughout the month of October at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And I promise you, every single time I do one of these broadcasts, you will get one or more of these three things. You will get something positive, you will get something fun, or you will get something inspirational. And hopefully you'll get many of those things all wrapped up in together. And today we're talking about how to kiss your own ouchies and boo-boos and why that's a really important skill to have and how it helps you continue moving forward and advancing in life. Nobody wants to stay stuck in that yucky feeling. You know, whatever the circumstance is of life, whatever has happened, you have a choice in how you respond to it. And for somebody like me or somebody like my best friend Amber, we've just decided that whatever life throws at us, we are going to take a positive approach, and we're not going to dwell on it. We're not going to wallow in it. We accept what comes, and then we choose a conscious response to it. And sometimes things are really painful. It doesn't mean that nothing bad ever happens or that we pretend like nothing ever hurts or that we just shake it off. You know, having that conversation with yourself, just shake it off. Just move on. That's not what I'm advocating here. I'm saying when something happens and it's painful, take the time to do whatever it is you need to do for yourself so that you feel better. So this past weekend, what that looked like for me was pretty much hanging around my house. And I don't mean in a depressed way. I'm actually an introvert, so spending an entire weekend in my own company, in my own house with nobody else around, actually feels really good. Now, that's not something I want to do all the time. There is too much, such thing as too much of a good thing, but it felt so good to just kind of drift around my house, move from task to task, do things that I wanted to do, get some projects done that I'd been putting off, starting some, finishing some, and others starting and then abandoning them because it just wasn't what felt good. It didn't feel like it was fulfilling the need that I had. Eating good food. I had some wonderful homemade chicken noodle soup that was in the freezer. I pulled that out. The other thing I did for myself was just give myself a long hot bath. That felt wonderful and relaxing. I used some essential oils that I diffused throughout my house. I just did whatever it was that felt like it was treating myself because I was hurting inside. And all those little things that I did to make myself feel better, no single one of them took away the pain. But what they did is, as a collective, they slowly helped that start to heal, which it's such an easy thing to do, but you have to know what those things are for yourself, and you have to make the decision that it's okay to do that for yourself, that when you feel like things are not going well, I'm hurt, I'm down, you have to understand that it's okay for you to do what it is you need to do for yourself so that you can feel better. And it's wonderful if you have a friend that can help you sort of shift that mindset, but it's very powerful to be able to do that for yourself. And all it really takes is practice. It just takes doing it on a consistent basis and letting yourself do whatever that thing is, even if that means sitting around the house, even if that means, having a cookie, whatever it is. Terrakack says that it's 8 a.m. in Hawaii when these broadcasts take place. Yes, thank you so much. Math is not my strong suit, so I haven't been giving the Central Mountain or Arizona times. I've been leaving you guys on your own to do that math. And so now I know that in Hawaii, these broadcasts are taking place at 8 a.m. So I'm curious what sorts of things you guys do for yourselves to kiss those boo-boos for yourself when it feels like, you know, life is hard or something has happened that's hurtful or that you're uncomfortable with. I would love to hear what strategies you guys use to, you know, kind of start to heal those internal ouchies. It's funny, Amber made a wonderful observation that when you have a child, which I don't have children, but she does, but when you have a child and they get an actual ouchie or a boo-boo, you quickly make a decision as a parent. You either decide, okay, you know, we need to pretend this didn't happen because if we don't freak out about it, they're not going to freak out about it. But then there are other times when, you know, the ouchie is real. There's maybe a little scrape or something like that. And we take the time to gather up that child and to say, come here, let me snuggle with you and let me kiss it better. And it's interesting that we don't allow that for ourselves. We will do the shake it off part. We will do the move on, it's not a big deal, let's not acknowledge that. But we won't take the time to snuggle ourselves up, to kiss our own ouchies and boo-boos, and to say, you know, it's okay. And I just thought that was so insightful of her to notice that somewhere along the way we feel like either we're not allowed to do that or that somebody else has to do that, when the truth is we can actually do that for ourselves. So I'm curious, what are you guys doing to help yourselves when things don't feel great? How do you kiss your own ouchies and boo-boos? I know for a lot of people I know, getting out in nature is the number one way that they try to heal themselves, that they try to restore themselves. And I love that strategy because there's nature everywhere. Even in New York City, you can find nature. Wherever you go, there are trees, there's air, there's flowers, there's birds, there's insects. That's one of the things I love when actually I'm out on a walk, is to look for different birds. Love birds. Had a wonderful bird feeder in my old home. Unfortunately, where I am now, I'm not allowed to have one. And some of you know the story of when I lived at my other house, why I had to take my bird feeder down. But that's for another day. It looks like Jeremy says sleep and heal. Yeah, sleep is awesome. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to allow yourself to rest, whether that means sleeping or being still or taking a bath, whatever it is. That element of just letting yourself be in internal stillness or external stillness, whatever you find more healing for yourself. I know some of us trying to be still, as in sitting in place, can be very challenging if you have a busy mind. So for some people, taking a walk is going to be more restorative, but I'm with you on the sleep. Jeremy says there's no nature in Manhattan. Lies. I don't believe you. I think you're yanking my chain there. So we're talking today on the Danielle Daily about kissing our own ouchies and boo-boos, why we need to do it. Sharing a little bit about how I was doing that for myself this past weekend. And I wanted to share with you something Amber actually gave me today that I'm going to use the next time I need to heal an ouchie or a boo-boo. So I had a birthday back in February, and due to a series of events, I had a birthday card that never got to me until today. It was actually made for me by Amber's niece, who I just love, Brianna. She's wonderful. I love her. That little girl is so smart. She has really said some profound things to me, and she's just a little girl. And I remember when she was probably about 6, I was teaching her to meditate, actually. And I remember it was just maybe 2 minutes, and when she opened her eyes, she said to me, "I feel so clean, like I just came out of the washing machine." And that, to me, was one of the most profound statements I've ever heard out of anyone's mouth, let alone a child. So Brianna had made me this beautiful birthday card, and I didn't receive it until today, but I wanted to just show it to you guys. I love it. on the inside, it just talks about how much she loves me, and she loves how I used to teach her yoga and meditation many years ago, and I just really appreciated that. So the next time I have a bad day, I mean, how can you look at a card like this and not feel just a little bit better? How can you look at how much a child loves you and still remembers you years later and not feel a little bit better? So for me, that's going to become one of the tools in my toolkit to help me when I need to kiss my own ouchies and boo-boos and I'm not wanting somebody else to do it. Looks like Nelson has joined us. Amber has joined us. Hi, Nelson. Thanks for joining us. Amber, I was just sharing about Brianna's card and how this is going to be one of the things in my toolbox for the next time I need to kiss my own ouchies and boo-boos, so that I know will make me feel better. I'm going to put it on my fridge. And in just a few moments, I am going to give you guys today's note to self. I'm curious what strategies you use to kiss your own ouchies and boo-boos. We had sleep, we had nature, we had taking a bath. There are so many different ways that we can do this, and I really loved what Amber said to me this morning about how, you know, when we have a child who has, whether it's an internal or an external ouch or boo-boo, we know what to do. We quickly assess, do we need to just shake this off? Or is this something where we need to gather that child up and kiss them and comfort them and help them to feel better? Why can't we do that for ourselves? And the only reason is because we just don't. There's no reason we can't do it for ourselves. And I know for me, having the skill and having the knowledge of how to do that, knowing what I need when I don't feel good, when I feel like I'm hurting because of something that's happened in life, it's so invaluable. Having that kind of power to heal yourself, to support yourself, makes me feel incredibly powerful, because I know, you know, the only person who's always going to be with me throughout life is me, and I need to be my own best friend. I need to be my own biggest supporter. I need to be the person who loves myself more than anyone else, because other people, they're going to come and go, but I will be here with me throughout my lifetime. And I think it's something that each of us could maybe just put a little more attention on, so that when we feel down, we know, okay, you know what, this doesn't feel good, but I know what I need to do for myself so that I can get back to feeling good. I can move in that direction. And I'm not at all saying when something feels horrible, ignore it. I'm saying process it, vent it, do whatever you need to do to keep moving forward. Nelson says, food, unfortunately, but I'm looking for a new ouchie and boo-boo substitute. Yeah, so Amber and I talked about that a little bit on our walk too, that sometimes something is so bad that the easiest thing to do to find comfort in the moment is to eat something that comforts you, that you know you love, that has a positive association with it. And we agreed that there is nothing wrong with that. It's when we do it consciously versus unconsciously. So when we do it unconsciously, we're kind of falling into that habit of wallowing in it. So if you're eating something over and over again to lessen your pain, that means you're not actually processing whatever it is you're going through, and you're not actually moving forward. You're actually just sort of like rolling around like a pig in it. And so food can be a wonderful way to give yourself an instant boost of I feel better. But if you're needing to do that on a regular basis, I'd take a look and say, is this a sign that I'm not actually dealing with whatever is causing me to do this? So just a little food for thought. It looks like Tim says, help someone else to refocus or finish a small project I put off. Clean out the junk drawer. Yes, I love that. So finishing off a small project, that was something I did over this past weekend. I looked around my house and there were several little projects that I'd sort of started, or piles of paper that I needed to file, things like that. And it felt so satisfying to just check those off my mental list. And then helping somebody else, oh my gosh. So I love that idea, because there's always somebody who we can contribute something to, whether it's a listening ear, whether it's having dinner together, whether it's just saying something nice to them. I can't tell you how good it makes me feel when I get up in the morning and I decide, okay, as I'm walking through my day, every time I see something I like on somebody, I'm going to say so. And it just makes me feel so good as I'm walking through Target to see somebody who has a scarf I like and say, hey, that scarf looks so beautiful on you. And just watch their face light up. And I love that it does that for them. And I love that it makes me feel good. It's just a practice I have. It's a game that I play. It looks like Jim has tuned in. Thank you so much for being here, Jim. It was nice to see you this morning. Elena is here. Thank you so much, Elena. I'm so glad that your kitty found its way home. That was tugging at my heartstrings a little bit, and I'm so glad that Snickers is back where he belongs. Nelson says, wait, did you just say I was rolling around like a pig? Yes, I did. I did. I said you're rolling around like a pig. Actually, I used to love shopping for CDs, but those stores are now long gone. You're so right. But I love the idea of helping someone feel better about their day. Yeah, you know, I used to like to walk around the Tower Records. We had a Tower Records in Sacramento that was a lot of fun to look around. Amber says, you can't kiss the same boo-boo every day forever. That's just creepy. In the same way you can't use ice cream as a soother every day, but a little pamper when you're down isn't bad, whether that pampering is ice cream or a pedicure or a fuzzy blanket and hot chocolate. I love that. Thank you, Nelson, for being called a pig with good humor. I appreciate you for that. So it looks like you guys are really loving this topic. Lots of comments coming in, lots of hearts, lots of thumbs up. Thank you so much for liking this broadcast. That helps make sure that it shows up in the newsfeed of yours for your friends so that they know that, hey, there's this awesome positivity party, it's going on, and I love it, and I enjoy the content, and it helps other people to find it. So if you don't feel like sharing it, which I would love you so much if you would share it. But if you don't feel like sharing it, if you could at least like it, that would help me out. That would help me get this positive message out to people. Remember, I promised you here on the Danielle Daily, I promise you every single time you come here, you will find something that is either positive, fun, or inspiring, and this is your source for that. When you are having a rockin' day, this is the place to come and pump that up even more. And when you're having a crappy day, this is your place to come and help turn it around. So I love that you guys are showing up here. I'm going to give you today's notes to self in just a second. Elena says, "Aw, thank you. He's definitely one of my boo-boo fixers." Yes, spending time with your animals. If you have animals and you love animals, oh my gosh, they are like the best boo-boo fixers in the world from what I hear, whether it's just sitting there petting them or watching how much they're enjoying life and not getting caught up in all of the, the human problems that we have. They are wonderful examples of how to just be in the moment, how to choose whatever it is that feels good to do and to just do that. So yeah, that might be a great philosophy. If you need to soothe your ouchie or boo-boo, do what your cat would do. Go lay in the sun and give yourself a bath. So I'm going to give you today's note to self. Remember to write it down. Remember, as I always say, if you don't like today's note to self, if it does not resonate with you, just get rid of it. No big deal. But I encourage you to write these down and to hang on to them for a little bit, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. And sometimes something you heard a week ago or 2 weeks ago turns out to be exactly what you need in the moment. So I encourage you, write these down, keep them hanging around for a bit, see if they resonate. If not, just get rid of them. So today's note to self is, dear self, it's okay to kiss your own boo-boos. I know that might sound a little bit strange at first, like why would I need to kiss my own boo-boos? But it's a life skill I think that each of us could develop to an even higher level, so that we are able to self-soothe, so that we are able to move forward through whatever problems and challenges life presents us with, so that we can get back to living and feeling and being who we want to be. Nobody wants to feel like they're wounded. Nobody wants to feel like life isn't going well. Sometimes we do feel that way, and it's okay to feel that way. I encourage you to use your positivity practice, use this way of looking at things from a different angle. I've had a lot of clients over the years who've come to me and said, this certain thing happened to me, or this situation I was presented with, and I thought to myself, what would Danielle do? And it allowed them to make a different decision than they might have otherwise made. So if you want to use that for yourself, even though you haven't been a client, well, what would Danielle do? How would she handle this? Feel free to use that to help you make a decision that feels like, okay, I'm living, I'm thinking, I'm feeling the way that I want to feel. So I'm going to read you today's note to self again in case you missed it. It's, dear self, it's okay to kiss your own boo-boos. In fact, it's more than okay. It is something that will help you make it through life in a way that feels like life is awesome, life is on fire, even if all the circumstances of your life are not perfect. And no one's ever are. And I think I may talk about on a future video my opinion on this whole Facebook isn't real thing, because I think I have a different perspective on it than a lot of people who kind of walk around saying that that's not okay. It's not okay that everybody has a rockin' life on Facebook. I think I have a little different perspective on that, so maybe I'll share it. We'll see if that's something that people want to hear. So one last time, today's note to self. I hope you will join me tomorrow and each of the rest of the days this week, all the way until Monday, the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm told that's 8 a.m. in Hawaii if you want to get up early and join me. You will find here on the Danielle Daily something positive, something fun, or something inspirational every time. I have a YouTube channel. I will put the link in the comments where I'm collecting all these videos so you can go back and watch them. And remember, you can use these videos to help really pump up your already awesome day, or you can use them when you're not having such a great day and you need a little dose of positivity to keep you moving forward. So one last time, dear self, it's okay to kiss your own boo-boos. And when I write these, I always put love me, and I like to draw a little heart next to it too. So that was today's edition of the Danielle Daily. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys so much. Sharing this broadcast, liking it, commenting even after the fact. I love that. I engaged with every single comment. There's nothing that makes me happier than to see a notification that somebody had something to say, because you guys are the reason I'm here. Otherwise, I'm just a weirdo talking into my phone by myself on my patio. So thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? Bye. Mwah.